No. It's an Izzy moment with Izzy noises. Let's see here. So we left off, we finished part 1 of the investigation. Okay, real quick. What is a kokoro? Heart. Range of meanings include mind, wisdom, aspiration, essence, attention, sincerity, and sensibility. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Swan Dunlop as Casey. Oh no. Like, I feel it works well there. Gregson! Hey, is it illegal to bribe the police? Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? Sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here, at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Hey, wait, don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee. That's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right, for the adventures of Erlock Jones. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me. Every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me a butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector. We'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, a little knife-wielding, mustached Japanese fella? Why am I doing Southern? He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there. Look. Oh. On the first floor of that house on the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garadeb. Right, well, see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector. We will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Do you mean the Queen, or... Damn, he's really, like... Damn. He really likes Iris. I mean, she's great. I can't blame him. So then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Oh. That seems comfy enough. Hello, beautiful. May I help you? Ah, yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb? Indeed it would be, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryonosuke Naruhodo. I am... Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here? We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. see that, Mr. Sato? That was a real-life English maid! I'd have the same reaction. I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better and better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrideb will see you now. This way. Hold on. Nope, wrong button. It's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica. That old thing? Bah, it's a little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon around the house. Really? It isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb? Oh my god, it is him. I scrolled down immediately, but I'm not gonna register that in my mind. Always is. Take Joan here. Never fail. I went from... Oh, God. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Drives them over the barrel, you see. They drive very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me. Which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Pah! Not much better than rags, really. Oh. Or that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know? I'm not one for dwelling on the past, me. I've gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the old piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put up there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Ahem, ahem. Maybe let's not, Miss Sato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Ahem, ahem. Pastries. Are those pastries in the middle of falling over? Oh, look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand. Lined up? Looks more like someone has half demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It's quite the English way. It's Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. It sounds delightful. Oh, wait a minute, though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Well, naturally! And it would never do to waste the leftovers. So whatever Mr. Garrideb doesn't eat, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. Oh. We should get Swan as Joan over here. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces. It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice. Ah, I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Yes, probably something like that, but let's not delve too deeply here. That portrait of Mr. Garrideb is glaring at me, I swear. Have you noticed that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garrideb as well? Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Ah, yes, seemed to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seemed to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In point of fact, now that I think about it, I often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements. Are those mortar shells? They're enormous. Did they have mortars at this point in time? Ah, those old things. A couple of little rounds accidentally fired into the barracks during training, you know. It became a bit of a colorful regiment folklore, that incident. You mean you deliberately hunted out the spent shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately, exactly. They're only scrap iron after all, usually just thrown away, I believe. But you never know when things might come in useful, do you? Useful for what? Yes, well... Joan here did manage to knock one of the bally things on my foot the other day while she was dusting. Hadn't shed a tear since 1869 before then, you know. Maybe reconsider throwing them away. It looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say. Although it bothers me that it's not straight. What, that old thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it, but the General would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The well's the best place for it. Keeps the belly thing out of my way. The switch just been polished to a shine by accident, I suppose? There appears to be an inscription on the metal itself. Look. Let me see. It says, "For distinguished participation." Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. Why do I feel like you're full of shit? I notice you have a pile of books here. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced the London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book. Oh, there's a copy of Rance magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Erlock Sholmes, too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. Good day to you. John Garrideb, at your service. I probably should have introduced myself first. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruto. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Mount Maiwon, you know. Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over to the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I tell ya. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yeah, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? Just panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garrideb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the General, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Arrgh! Dash it all, woman. Be careful. Oh, dearie me. I do beg your pardon, sir. Jolly nearly took the skin off me hands. I shall be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs. Is that right? Have you even taken a sip of that tea? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Erlock Sholmes! Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Rance magazine here, so... Eh? No, Anyway. Oh. The chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrideb. Please do tell us. Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So you moved in fairly recently, then? I have two lodgers most of the time. One on the ground floor, and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago. You see there... Ah! Dash it all, Joan. Do be careful. Oh, my goodness. I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, Oh my god, I love her. I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written all across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes! Oh, yes, indeed there was! She's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else all about your lodger, Mr. Natsuname? Oh my word, yes! The man was shadier than an orchard! Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone could ever read. Wasn't he, like, studying literature? And he never as much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day. He comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night, but I've never known the Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh! I love her. I understood that she's probably evil, but I love her. I'd understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct? That's right. Yes, they're both below us. On the first floor and street level. Right, because this is British floor numberings. So this is like the American 3rd floor. Then how is it you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed. Good grief, Joan. Do be more careful, woman. Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Whenever we get close to, like, something, she spills tea on him in order to, like, change the topic. This man cannot sire children. Like, he's probably too... Like, hold on. Do we have his age? Jesus Christ. Maid. I want to squish her cheek so fucking badly. 46... I mean, he could theoretically sire children. Theoretically. Not with those burns. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window around that time? The window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garradeb households, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as... anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time in here, there... Ah! For the love of God, Joan! Watch what you're doing! Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm sorry, sir. Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Naruhalo. Oh, yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour.
We need to get Mr. Garradeb on his own, because this maid is like... She knows something. So does he, but she's not letting him say anything. Oh, really? Mr. Garradeb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Ah! Joe, dash it all! What is the matter with you, woman? Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal, Joan? That's right, Mr. Garradeb. What's the matter with these two? It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what? I wish I knew. Can we go see Mr. Natsume's room? Could you tell us which floor his room is on? It's ground floor, right? Or is it the first floor? Ground. Ah, damn it. Just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak? Yes. Told me Nuts his name, has asked them to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In his room, I mean. I don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that can help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes. And while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountain of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Oh, this is the the bricked up windows that we saw on the outside. Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garradeb told us, a great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all his books while his master is away. I don't know about that. Disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. It's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. Notes scrawled all over them, in English. It looks like the waste paper basket is so full they just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. I'm half expecting to, like, look over here and Mr. Sholmes is just gonna be peeking out. Like a Five Night at Fuckers. Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Manakete Nikko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruto. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it could be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same. And this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. Not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word! Why are my eyes such a giveaway? That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. If you know what I mean. It's surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your Books. Oh yeah, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of the purchase... 2 days ago at 5:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. I fucking hate this. Aha! Look, Mr. Naruto. There he is! Where did he appear from? Seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. Hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello? Mr. Sholmes? Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We were together on the SS Burya. Yes, of course, the Burya. I already forgot the voice I did for him because that was like 2 cases ago. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died tragically. But you were a help to us. Ah, yes, but of course. The case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Well, I seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr... Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato. Try it the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. Solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Sasaki-san in that short of a time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and could distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure titled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased. And this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Saseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on something so little? I'm sorry, Miss Sasato. I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? Can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I will quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah. A man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there was a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no. Oh, dear. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadep, retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is services. And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put it simply, my dear fellow. Whoops. Those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, in a retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadep. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place like this will stab somebody sooner or later. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window. Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened up windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful. And unjust! Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. Some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see. In squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging. Discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Wait, hold on. We're just glossed over. He put all these books here in 1 week. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. No? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. What does the other guy's room look like? Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruto. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of the law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized. And so promptly, too. The thing is, it really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh. I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was a Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to have seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garadeb said that much before, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruto. As yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garradeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, so true. To be or not to be. That is indeed the question, Mr. Naruhodo. To be or not to be brushed off. That is the question. And the answer is all too clear. Let's leave Mr. Sholmes in peace, shall we? Oh, this book's stacked up there. You almost reached the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. This volume of books to hand, you'll never be short of reading material, would you? No. What a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading it is an experience that comes about once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although, all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone do... Yeah, we know. Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. No, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyways, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Alright, I believe that's it. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Erlock Sholmes? Yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you would please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what... For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bally well doing? I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get that much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garradeb is hiding something. And since there's no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. I see you back there, you caked up ponce. Ah. What's he doing over there? Oh, was she hit him? Oh, fuck. Mr. Sholmes? Ah, we meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious! When did you sneak in here? Erlock Sholmes, sir. At your service.
What were you doing over by the window?
I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took liberty of borrowing a small corner of space up by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is a pretty prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. And one other thing, Mr. Naruto. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Okay, Ryu, it's been a few months. Like, how long were you at sea? At least 3 months? Also, they're talking about sex. There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruto? I think so. There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Garradeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are 2 conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Dang! And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruto, look. The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly? How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Erlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. That a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these 4 walls. Thus we are faced with a question. What form might this beast take? For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garradeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appeared unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this pifle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped here from India, which you tried to keep in your house. What? Is that a burn on his face? Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? I love her fucking jiggle physics. I love her. I love her. Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. From protruding it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garrideb, at Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Now, Mr. Garrideb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being ravaged by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. Ooh, they both looked. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to this pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. Oh, a very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. Ah! There's no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsated appetite. Was it, or was it not, once said by a certain noblewoman, that if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Yeah, she would. Thus concludes Erlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrideb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. Stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruto. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit in a room this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. Terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. Wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt. Or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they're infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh! What a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. We don't even know whether or not this is going to help in Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Verloc Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. We have the katana. What form might this beast take? Your eyes are uncommonly candid. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did run amok in here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. It couldn't have been a lion transposed from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. Oh. I do enjoy... Man, I bet this looked really cool on the 3DS. What is this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Oh, wait, fuck. I was supposed to just present this without... my bad. Sorry, Cam. I'm gonna bet dollars to donuts that there's an achievement for doing that. I guess not. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there.
Take that!
The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruto. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garradeb. And while we lament the fact her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. The light gets turned off on him. Oh, Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late! The fact remains that the beast, which is so clearly savaged this room, was your wife. Yeah. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. As we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. May this angry creature have been disappeared too? Madame? Me? Okay, at this point, I genuinely thought Shuns was going to be like, the lion is up your skirt. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. It does not. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garradeb anywhere. It seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that his maid is trying to hide. I wonder Mr. Garradeb's wife could be. Hold on. Hold on. She's the wife! Damn, your wife's hot.
Take that!
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does. That flowery that flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garradeb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mrs. Garradeb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garradeb herself. Oh my word! Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightfully surmise, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corker bag. Ah! Hey, don't talk to your wife like that. Joan, baby. I may have even less money than him, but I could treat you right. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you're a retired army man, and you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garradeb has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garradeb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret. Please. The raging wife. She ate the carpet. Now, Mr. Garradeb. It's plainly clear that you still have a deep feelings for this formidable beast. Yeah, because he's your wife. Sure, she's your wife. Indeed, that blithe pose of the distress of this loss caused you is veritably tangible. I'm not reading all this again. I need to remember not to. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. That's not a burn on the side of his face. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling his wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm seems to be propping up his head has of other significance. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible, though. He's nursing. Can I? I'm sorry. I fucking had to.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. It was you, Madame Joan Garrideb. Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. I thought it was a burn. I thought she committed, she did the caused the mark. I just thought it was like a T burn mark or something. Like half his face was burnt. How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves, what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. It's this pile of bills. No. Spinelli had established that the line never existed, which could only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Joan, I could treat you so right, sweetie. Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here. Look. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh, no, it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note, then.
Take that!
Yes, this is the love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Oh, she is ready to fucking kill. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here? But I don't know the Bali woman. You don't know her?
That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there.
It was just in there, you say?
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at the second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? Just let that keep pouring. Let it simmer.
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you'd forgotten, is John! A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? I don't think I could treat her right. I don't think she'd treat me right. And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last imaginable attack. I am employing an extremely advanced deductive technique called jumping to conclusions. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Is this time, madame? So I'm wondering, but surely Mrs. Garrett didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray in this room is a result of her wild temper. Oh, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. So, like, did she hit him so hard that he, like, hit this wall of bric-a-brac and sent the candle from here down there and set the carpet on fire? Going to Mr. Sharp's deduction. Hairs match that made by an Indian lion's teeth. Oh, look here. If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. Well, yes, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense after all.
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed, they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little martial altercation. By Mrs. Garretev's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. In seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room was in flames. Oh, there's a bit of burnt wood back there. Yes, For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion, nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of martial discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! God, she's dreamy. Oh my god, I have the next cosplay for Erica. Oh my god. Next, implying there was ever a first. It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good secondhand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material, for which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be closer to the mark. The beast is most certainly an apt... Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Fair as it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. I'm pretty sure wool, is very, very flammable. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. You had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over there, Mr. Garrett? Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. As soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. Man, Joan is a problematic fave. Oh, we know her age now, too. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes. Your notorious love of big cats is coming through again. Hello, Tucker. I may not have a love for big cats, but I do have a love for my tiny doggy. Baby. Baby. Baby, come on. Uppies? Do you want uppies? Hi. Hi. Hi, baby. Are you gonna help me solve an assault? I enjoy her on a conceptual level, but she is very abusive. Conceptually, would. Practically, would not. I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Shump's deductions turned out to be correct once again. Can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was a total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think. So at exactly the same time as the terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. No. Really? Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruto? What can I do for you? Well, I think we got to the bottom of Garrett situation now. What does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. I mean, yeah. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man was hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret proved to be relevant or not. You mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into only one of two categories. Those to be relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. I mean, it makes sense. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours of the prison will soon be over. Is it that time already? If we are to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourself to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrideb. Oh yes. I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Saseki-san will be waiting for us. I'm gonna have to give him an answer. What a miserable sight. Oh dear, but at least the whole room wasn't engulfed. I suppose so, but my whole collection went up in smoke, you know. All those novels I adored so much. Well, John, whose fault is that? Not mine, that's for sure. Well, whoever may or may not be to blame, I'm quite sure you can buy some new old books to replace them, can't you? A new old book? Bawling nonsense. It does sound like a contradiction in terms, but then these two are full of contradictions. That's couples for you. Or so I've been led to believe. Oh, okay. We're going right to... Oh. I guess this is one side effect of it being, like, having all the locations available in a list instead of having to travel from point to point to point. That it might have to stop you at some points to get some story beats through. It's time. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a care. Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of Garrideb's house. Oh my fucking god! I know thee not. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who are you calling an old man, you run-nooking ninny-prinny? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fella, eh? What are you on about? Excuse me. What the? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. My associate here, Mr. Ryonosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way for today. You mark my words. This ain't over yet. Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? I hate him. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the Garadep residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right! Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. This Garadep mentioned he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other nut lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a palmist in my battle of words ne'er could there be. Sorry, battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So, fair maiden, so good gentleman, I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. Seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Sasaki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garadep household is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyways, I'll go find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly waiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Oh, it's you! You're here, you came! Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched! We are sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh, no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nipponese. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand... Jesus Christ, where did you come from? It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable, rotten spy, Erlach Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? Ah, at least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight, and it cost me not a penny. Ah, you! How dare you, Erlach Sholmes! Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in these accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. There is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrideb's house, I believe? Do you mean to say the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become very nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homelands for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently, to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes. Well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. In my waking hours, people are being stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison, and nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all? To believe... Yes, to believe. Alright. I thought it made sense to talk about the lodgings first. About the trial tomorrow being cursed. Oh no, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Why did you say that? Please tell me, summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly. Yesterday, Mr. Haruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilded. What? Ah, I am impressed, Mr. Sato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have accused the convicted, Lord Van Zykes killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry. The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Of course he is? Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Okay, we got two avenues to go down. I guess we're going to the Reaper. Van Zykes is quite an exceptional man. However, in London's courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Yeah, that's good. Soseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. Judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It's an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly is from time to time, my dear madam, it is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright? However, it is not alright. Those indicted by Lorne Van Zykes cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the education may see them believe they caught you. Sorry. With their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? By all manners of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. How you do it? I'm a dead dodo, done for and doomed. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buria, if you recall. The Buria. Ah, that case. The one with the snake? Well, yes. At that time, I was a suspect. But you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. My throat is starting to go. I did, didn't I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes. You mean, because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment. Nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another. Holy shit, it's the real Matt and Guard. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. I'm concerned. How you doing? Whether or not one should trust in... Fuck. I'm running low on water as well. Whether or not one should trust in another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, yes! He's right! He's right! locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Whether or not I can believe in myself, or I can believe myself, God. A defense lawyer is only good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You were so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume. If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. Although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It'd be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. I did the point! I did the point! Ah! Ah! Sholmes, you're corrupting me! Ah! Fuck. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Mr. Sato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learnt to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight in his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. God. I don't want to... I don't want to say that I'm glad Mr. McGilded is dead, but I'm glad I don't have to do the accent anymore. Oh. Oh. Okay. That has been 2 hours straight of me chatting. And I think my throat needs a break. I gotta say, I love the screenshots I've been getting from this game as well. Let me see here. And just like out of context ones are even great. Like, you know, let's. Can it not show? Yeah, well. I still just fucking love the one with the cheese. Alright. So, next stream will be Monday. Oh, hold on. Music. I really just need to download this song so I have it set. Next stream will be Monday. I don't have D&D, so I'll be able to get the start of the trial done. Oh god, it's gonna be a new jury every time. That didn't even occur to me. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. It kind of makes, like, you mentioned that those two buffoons in front of the house were really only going to be important in the second game. I'm wondering if it was like, how do I want to put it? Like, if they plan for them to be reused in the next game, or it's just like, we need extra characters. Oh, we have these guys. Let's retool them. Or, you know, give them more of a purpose. I'm not at the second game yet, so I don't know. But this was a good stream. And again, like, just the camera angles and everything that goes on, I am so curious to see what this game looked like on the 3DS. Then the first one almost flopped. If I wonder, part of me wonders if this, like, has sold well, would they actually go and do the third game? Yeah. God. I want to think about Ace Attorney 7, but I also don't at the same time. I still remember in the lead up to Ace Attorney 6 coming out, one of my friends on Tumblr, Lawyerly, I haven't heard from them in years, I hope they're doing alright, but they were like, oh, I'm so worried this game won't have Maya in it, and I'm like, DMing them like, takes place in Khura'in. It has to. Like, it... And then when she was finally revealed in one of the trailers, I was like screaming at them and they were screaming at me. It was great. It was a great old time. Yeah. I mean, between the Ace Attorney, like, both the regular trilogy and the Apollo Justice trilogy, even though I think that's a really bad name for it, along with Great Ace Attorney, and the fact they've also, like, remastered Ghost Trick makes me think that they want to, like, touch base with some of their older ideas, if that makes sense. I don't know. Because, like, these things have a following. People want more. I don't know how they could do more Ghost Trick. And that's honestly one game where I'm like, okay, you don't need to do another one. Like, that is... It works really well on its own. It doesn't need anything else. Whereas, like, if you just played Ace Attorney 1, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Ace Attorney 1 is a good game. It's just that it feels like there's much more you could do with it. Oh, something I thought of before stream. This is a very long wind down, and I'm still talking. Something I was thinking is that I am fully expecting that for Case 5 to be over, you know, the game's over, and then it's like, wait a minute. It's Rise from the Ashes 2, baby. I don't know. But I'm gonna be ending for the night. I hope everyone has a nice night. Thank you, V, for showing up, and Matt and Guard, you scare the shit out of me, but thank you for the follow. I hope everyone has a nice night. Remember to take your medicine, be sure to drink lots of water, stay cool, stay hydrated, go to bed at a decent time, and yeah. Love you guys. See you Monday. Mwah.